Morning, everybody. Welcome to 1 Million Cups. My name is Dustin. I'm going to move this stand over here. I'm one of the organizers for 1 Million Cups. If this is your first time, we're glad that you're here. It's a weekly meeting, group, gathering, whatever you want to call it, support group for entrepreneurs. We meet here 9 o'clock every Wednesday. We have 2 companies to present about what they're doing, some sort of innovative idea, and then we have got some time for Q&A from the audience. So the idea is that we're here to benefit the companies that are presenting so they can share what they're doing, they can give feedback, but also for you all that you can learn, get some ideas, get some inspiration. So we've got 2 great companies, both from out of town. They've both traveled from opposite directions to be here today, so we appreciate that. Who's on My Wi-Fi is an awesome startup out of Oklahoma City, dealing with security, which has been in the news a lot lately, so I think it's very apropos. And then Panda Laundry Factory is a really sweet startup out of Missouri that we're excited to have here. So be sure and look at the beautiful writing that our other organizer Ben did. Use the hashtag 1MCTUL if you want to talk. I'm going to be up front here live tweeting the whole time. And then got the Twitter handles for our other presenters. So without further ado, here is John from Who's on My Wi-Fi.
Hello, can you hear me? Okay, cool. Alright, so let's get the next slide. Okay, so my name is John Kerber. I'm the co-founder of Who's on My Wi-Fi. I'm going to tell you a little bit about our company, where we're at, and kind of where we're headed. So you can kind of guess a little bit about what we do. I mean, our name is Who's on My Wi-Fi. We're obviously in network security. We help protect wireless networks. So what does my company actually do? The problem we try to solve is someone on your wireless network right now. So let me ask, in the audience, who has a wireless network at their home or at their business? Yeah, like everybody, right? Everyone runs Wi-Fi. Okay, so that wireless network, if there was someone on there right now using it that you didn't know, that you didn't give approval to be on there, would you know about it? Yeah. I mean, no. For the most part, almost no one would know if someone was using their wireless right now. Right? So this problem is very big. It's a problem that's happening for tech consumers, regular consumers, and also small and medium businesses. And so it's a very large market. Basically, the solution that we've provided is we do automated scanning. We detect intruders. We're constantly looking to see, is someone else on your network that you didn't agree to be on there? And we send you a text message, log in, let you kick them off. And here's a kind of grainy screenshot of our latest Mac edition. You can't see it super well, but it kind of shows you the devices, what it does, and whether or not it's known or unknown. And then it also connects to our online service. You can see it's kind of logging it here to which devices have been on the network. Okay, so we think this has a really large market opportunity. Like I was saying, we really built it for small businesses. We're in network security, so we know that in the enterprise space, there are already solutions that handle this. They're called network access control. They cost between $50,000 and $100,000. So we were really trying to go for the small and medium sized business market. But what we actually found was in releasing it, tech consumers and kind of general consumers at least wanted more control and wanted more knowledge over the wireless network. And that's kind of what we're seeing about the market opportunity. The other thing is, it's an international problem. We've had sales everywhere from Portland to Paraguay, right? It's all over the place for who's actually buying the product right now. And we're freemium, and I'll get into that when I start talking about competition. Okay, so who we are, we're an Oklahoma City-based startup. We've really only been full-time for about 2 years, but I put out a minimum viable product about 4 years ago, just kind of threw something out there. I was working a day job, saw the problem, and was curious if anybody else had the problem, and it turned out I got a sale within like a month of just putting out something very, very basic. And so that's kind of where this product and the solutions come from. Okay, so where are we right now? So like I said, we've been here for about 2 years, full-time. We've had about 750,000 downloads. Now, that is actually a little bit masking what's really happened, which is because starting last year, we'd only had about 100,000 downloads. Then we went freemium. And last year, we've had about 600,000 downloads just in the last 12 months. We are making revenues, and we've been featured on Lifehacker, CNN, G-Hacks, CNN Chile, right? So that's what I was saying. It's an international problem. We were actually featured on a little tech segment in Chile. Didn't understand what it said, but it just said, "Donde está mi Wi-Fi?" Right? Like, where's my Wi-Fi? Who's on my Wi-Fi? Something like that. ¿Quién está en mi Wi-Fi? Who speaks Spanish? Whatever it is, it's who's on my Wi-Fi, right? So that's where we're at right now. And where we're headed. So one of the most interesting things about our story, I think, is the competitive story. Now, I came up with this idea 4 years ago just because, literally, I was concerned that somebody had brought a laptop computer onto a network that I was supposed to protect, and I didn't know about it. Right? So somebody brought a laptop computer onto a business network that was not supposed to allow laptop computers from home, and nobody knew about it for about a day. That was a huge problem. It was definitely a problem in the company. So I just put out the solution. Like I said, people started buying it. It kind of iterated it over the years. And the craziest thing happened, which was that we got cloned. We got cloned within 2 years, right? So we're just this, I mean, it was me, right? It was like this small little one-person idea kind of thrown out there. And it was already getting copied. And it actually got copied by a free competitor. And they put it out free, and they were a little bit more well-known than we were, too. And so the press coverage and things like that started going to them instead of us, who my co-founder joined at that time. And people were saying this other company, oh, this is this really great idea they came up with. Okay, well, that's really the problem. I mean, you guys are all entrepreneurs. You're all kind of innovative and trying to put something out there. And so anyways, we actually went with a free model because, like I said, in the last year, we've gone from 100,000 people knowing about us to 750,000 just by giving away a free product and by being able to monetize it in some other way. And so like I said, where we're headed, we're actually in the Launch Oklahoma Startup Accelerator program right now. We're trying to raise funds, we're trying to compete, we're trying to, thank you very much.
Any questions? You have to get my attention, which means you have to work extra hard. Okay, I have a question. How do you make money? You talk about the freemium model, what's the next step? How do you monetize it?
Sure, yeah. So if I go back to this slide right here. So this is our free product. This was just released for Mac on Friday. We've actually got a Windows product, an Android product, and an iPhone product that are all free. And so that's what we've gotten massive downloads. This is our online product, right? Online is a separate fee. So we charge about $10 a month because it gives you text message alerts, logging, things like that. So that's really what people pay for. And we spread awareness through our free product, and then we charge for the monthly web service. Yeah.
In the home use of this, is it possible to track, like if your kids are getting online in the middle of the night or something like that?
You know, that's a great question. It doesn't track where people go. It would track, let's say somebody didn't have their tablet on and they were supposed to be sleeping, and then they turned on their tablet at 2 in the morning. Yeah, you could see that if you wanted to see that. But again, I wouldn't say we're geared towards the home space. It's more, we were geared towards small business, but there wasn't a lot of stuff going on in this area for tech and home users, and that's kind of how we got into it. Yeah.
Most of these Wi-Fi networks have some type of password encryption, so does the service provide some type of information on how someone would have gotten around your password protection?
It doesn't provide information on how they got around the encryption, but that's a great point. I mean, we actually hear a lot, well, I have encryption on my network, why do I need something extra? And we kind of think of it like a lock on a door in your house. You know, a lot of people have locks on their doors, but then people also have a home security system. Why do you have a home security system? Right? It's because people can kick in the door, they can go through a window. There are ways to get through encryption, and that's why we try to separate the authentication from the monitoring.
So, can you explain, does it kick them off, or they can actually use your Wi-Fi and then it alerts the user, and then how does that process work?
Sure, yeah. So we have a couple of different products, and it really is kind of on the range of ease of use versus power. So our router product, for instance, we actually sell a router that does this constant scanning and has encryption and everything. and that connects to our online service. Now, in that case, if you get a text message that there's an intruder, you go to our online system, click the block button, and it will completely disable them from your network. Does that make sense? So that's the router edition. Now, we also have, like in our Android edition, it really just kind of shows the devices. So what we're really trying to provide is some solutions that work depending on how much effort people want to put into it. Does that make sense? So, and we started off with software because it was easiest to get out there. People could recognize it fastest. But as we were, kind of getting it out there in the marketplace, people said, "Well, I want to be able to kick them off more easily," and that's where things like the router edition came from.
You mentioned the difficulty of the competitor coming in and getting credit for developing this idea.
Yeah.
How has that challenge played out, and what challenges are you now facing, related or unrelated to that particular one?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the really nice thing about going free and freemium is that, okay, so we were starting to get a little bit of coverage with our pay-for edition, right? So we used to just charge for the software. When the free competitor came out, they got a little bit of press, but also they sort of had fanboys or maybe employees, I don't know, that anytime we would get any press coverage anyplace, or would get mentioned on a blog or a forum or anything like that, I mean, every single time someone would go there in the comments and say, "Oh, well, I mean, this is kind of nice software, but I can't believe there's a free edition that no one's talking about." And they'd click a link to that guy's site. And that happened for 6 months or so until we said, "All right, we're just going to do this. We're gonna do the freemium edition." We were just finishing online so that it would work with the router anyways. And so, let's just charge for online. And that was a risk. I mean, I didn't know if people were ever going to pay for an online service that kind of did this in conjunction. Right? We knew they would pay for the software. We didn't know if they'd pay for online. But once they started paying for online, it was like, all right, we're going to go free. And then right as we finished that, we got a clone on Android that actually didn't just clone our idea. They called themselves Who's on My Wi-Fi. So they called themselves Who's on My Wi-Fi on Android, right? So they were basically taking our name and kind of saying, this is a class of products. We're the Android edition of that. And so we spoke to some attorneys, got out our own Android editions, and said, all right, we need to be everywhere. Got out an iPhone edition, got out a Mac edition, we're coming out with a Keep a Fire edition. And basically we're just saying, we're going to go out and compete on this idea, because this is really sort of our idea. We're going to try and own this space. That's what we're doing. So that's how it's worked out so far. Once we did that, it's actually had a very nice effect where people are seeing us in multiple places, right? They're seeing the name Who's on Their Wi-Fi on their Mac, they're seeing it on their phone, and it's all kind of going into branding, which is good for us. Yeah, hi.
Explain how you monetize this. You explain how you're trying to monetize it. But what's your long-range goal? Where do you see this going a year, 2 years, 5 years down the road?
Yeah, so long-range goal. That's a great point, or that's a great question. I don't even know that we've thought that far out, except for the fact that this idea, this technology, that people want more control and information about what's happening on their Wi-Fi is really starting to grow right now, and people really want this. And so I don't think it's crazy to think that 10 or 20 million people might be using some kind of software like ours, and then from that, what do we monetize? Maybe a less than 1%, but some percentage of that. And so I definitely see our ability to monetize it pretty high. But the other thing that happened recently is one of our competitors, that isn't a clone, they were actually a competitor. They focused on a router from the beginning. They just got bought by a large cable company, right? So this is actually coming to people's kind of normal, everyday, life, right? I don't know if we're going to be able to compete sort of directly on the router, or if we're going to partner with somebody. But this technology and kind of this awareness and control that people want, it's going to be just normal. People aren't even going to think about it. So that's kind of what I see as the long range goal: is either partner or grow revenues directly from offering it in our online service, hopefully through maybe just a normal cable. Yeah, hi.
I had a question about your way to protect your product and your have you learned anything? Could you have protected yourself from the competition if you'd done things differently in the beginning? And the second question is on a router.
Yeah.
When you get the router, do you get the whole system, and is that the direction that you're really pushing? The way to, have you protected yourself on the router?
Yeah. So those two questions. The first is, did we learn anything? I'd like to think yes, about protecting ourselves. You know, when you're doing a startup, it's always kind of this. Where do you put resources? When do you charge? When do you not charge? How much do you charge? All that. I think it was very beneficial to actually charge in the beginning. And I say that because, you know, this was not the first product I kind of put out on the internet and said, hey, does anyone want to buy it? But it was the first one that people bought quickly and that people actually wanted to pay for it. So there was a real need, there was a real demand. Now, if I could go back, I think once I saw there was enough of a demand right away, I think I would have raised money and made it free immediately, right at that point. And I mean, I could have gone back and said, yeah, let's do some patents and stuff, but at least from what I've seen on the internet, I mean, when you're talking about a globally competitive marketplace, the guys that cloned us and called themselves Who's on My Wi-Fi were from Spain, all right? U.S. Trademark laws don't really apply that well to Spain. And so the real way to protect yourself is get big. You are the brand. You are out there as soon as you can. And so, like I said, going back, I think that's what we would have done. Made sure it was viable, charged, and then once there was enough of kind of an awareness and it was going to grow, raise money, get big as soon as you can is definitely what I'd say. Now the second one, you were talking about the router product, which was, yes, the router, it is fully integrated, right? So the software that does this additional monitoring and keeping track of the devices and connected to online, that's all integrated into our router product. And that's actually what the large cable company bought from our competitor, was sort of their router online integration technology. Yeah.
So for a lot of people who don't know a lot about like technological security and stuff like that, especially like residential customers, if you could sum up why someone who has never had anything like this ever, why they would want or pay for a product like this. Like a sentence.
Well, that's a really hard question. So, you know, because I'll tell you, I wouldn't say that's ever been my business, right? Like, I'm not someone that tries to force demand, right? I really saw demand and like to fill it, right? So there are a lot of people that already are concerned that, hey, maybe my wireless isn't as secure as I think it could be, or I'm concerned about it. And so we're really selling more to them. Now, as far as why should a general home user, you know, I don't know. You know, there are a lot of people that will try to scare you and say, oh, well, somebody could get on your Wi-Fi and do bad things, and then you're in trouble for it and all that. But I'm not one of those people. I mean, I think that if you're concerned about your wireless security, you might want something extra, and that's who we sell to. You know, trying to scare the masses into buying something is not what I do. Yeah, hi.
So, initially you were targeting, and you're still targeting small businesses with this product. What have you learned about the actual customers that you do attract and you attract? Mostly the people that you thought you would, or are there other segments that you weren't expecting? And then what are you hearing from people as far as what they like and what they want to see improved or changed about the software?
Yeah, great question. So we originally targeted small businesses, and we got small businesses. We did not originally target tech consumers. And we picked up tech consumers because we were covered by a couple of different blogs and by CNET. Now, we are finding that they are definitely different customer types. They have different needs and different expectations. When we were selling primarily to small business and IT crowd, things like showing a MAC address and an IP address and that being enough for them was fine. Now that we're getting at least a little bit more awareness in the consumer market, they take a look at a MAC address and IP address and they're like, what is this? This doesn't do anything for me. This doesn't help me. You know. And so what they really want is better detection that says, look, this device is a Windows 8.1 laptop. This is an iPad. This is they want more clarity about what the devices are, and then they want to be able to tag them and get them off a little bit easier. So that's something we're working on right now is how do we explain to people that are not necessarily tech savvy, or tech savvy but not IT pros, I guess I should say, how do we show them what their devices are and give them better control? And that's what we're working on right now. So just one other thing on that. We actually thought we were the only ones in this space for a little while because we were hearing about demand. But we tried to release an enterprise product, and that's when we really saw the enterprise competition. And enterprise meaning, larger businesses, 500 employee plus. And there is this whole industry this whole technology called network access control that is really in that. And so we thought we had enterprise customers, and we don't. Not large enterprise, about medium enterprise, kind of where we max it out. So, yeah.
You keep referencing this being a solution to a problem. So what I'm hearing is that this allows me to see someone accessing my wireless, but doesn't really tell me how to prevent that from happening in the future. Is that something you guys are working towards? Because that seems to be the solution. Is, hey, we've identified a problem for you via our product, and it will offer you this additional service to fill that, to solve that actual problem.
Sure. How to prevent the problem in the future, right? That's a great point. I mean, if you're saying that as part of our solution, we could also give people measures to help prevent the problem in the future. Yeah, that's a good idea. I mean, definitely with our router product, we set it up with secure, wireless signals from the beginning.
It seems like it'd be very easy cross sell. Hey, you have an issue, you have to have a product that solves this issue.
Yeah, no, that's a great idea.
You're probably smart enough to figure out that.
No, I appreciate it. Yeah.
I have a question about the
Sure,
launch Oklahoma
Yeah.
thing. So that just started, right?
Yes. That's
Okay,
right.
so what does that look like for you guys, and then what level of capital are you looking for? Would that be a seed round? Is that your A round? What do you sort of talk us through that?
Sure, yeah. So Launch Oklahoma is a startup accelerator out of Oklahoma City. It's 3 months long, and basically we're meeting with mentors and kind of getting better business intelligence, and then we have a investor pitch day in October. And we're actually looking to raise $500,000 in just a nice seed round, really to kind of go out there and compete.
You've mentioned making the product available on different platforms and really promoting your branding in that way. What other methods are you using for marketing and advertising?
Yeah, so we've tried various things. AdWords, blogs. We do online marketing, online content marketing. As far as branding on things like direct mail or print mail, we haven't tried any of that. We haven't tried TV, and really that's because we were a little bit more of a niche product until it turned out that we weren't. So we really need to do more of it.
Again, on your financing.
Yeah.
Count Wars with Score, we have a program coming up this month working with the SBA on financing. It's going to be on September 18th, and it's going to be Meet the Lenders. We're going to bring in 12 lenders, and anybody looking for financing can come down and meet with them. We'll advertise that on the program here down the road with you, but how are you going to look for this financing? You talked about seed money. Are you looking for SBA possible loans, or are you looking for investors, or what are you looking for there?
Sure. Okay, so we are looking to raise equity as opposed to loans, and at least in the past, the last startup accelerator pitch day that I went to, mainly it's a room with various different investors that want to take an ownership stake in your company. And that's really the way that we plan on doing it, is through the pitch day. Because if you've got, I don't know who's been to a pitch day like at Venture Spur or some other pitch day events like that, but really that's kind of the idea. You get about 150 investors, from everything from angel investors to private equity and venture capital that might want to take an ownership stake in the company. And you really sort of tell them what your company is, talk about your revenues, talk about where you're going, and then you meet with them and they decide if they want to take an ownership stake or not. Now, this is what we plan on doing, primarily because it'd be a lot better to get an equity stake from somebody that has connections potentially with cable companies or with telecom companies, because we think that's a very good avenue that we can partner with, like I said, with a competitor getting bought by them. Because right now, we do need money, but we also need connections and the ability to compete on a larger scale. And I think, we're at least aware enough of the fact that we are a small startup, right? And it's different than being able to compete with a very large cable company. Right? So even raising a little bit more money and all that, there's just there's something very different about competing with a very large company on that scale. So I think we're looking to partner potentially, and that would be a good way to do it.
John, like we ask every entrepreneur, at the end of the day, what can we take from here? What can the entrepreneur community of Tulsa, what can we do to help you move forward? Just a couple action steps.
Yeah. So for what you can do to help us, honestly, if you have connections at AT&T, Cox, or potentially larger router companies, Cisco, etc., just say hi. Please let us know, and we'd love to talk to you. Other than that, spread the word, download one of our free products, and help it protect your Wi-Fi. Yeah, that's about it.
All right, it's announcement time. I just want to cue up my slides. My name is Tim. I'm happy to be here with you today. We have a newsletter if you want to get on it. Email Tulsa at 1millioncups.com, and then you can get updates from us. Oh, I'm going to let Sam do the looking at it. No, you click for me, Sam. Okay. We have an out-of-state clicker today. It's helping me. We have OSU Entrepreneurship Club. They've got a kickoff tonight at 5 p.m. If you're in Stillwater or you want to go to Stillwater for this kickoff event, they're going to have a lot of fun activities. They even try to get Aaron to come play the piano at the last minute. So, anyway, next slide. I'm going to hand it over to Adam if you want to run forward real quick. Adam is a past presenter. He presented his concept, Pete and Penelope, which is a kids' TV show. He's got a quick little update for us and I think an invite.
Hey, how's it going, everyone? I'm Adam. About a year ago, we launched a big project I'm really excited about. It's a television show for preschoolers that teaches them how to have great character, how to be patient with each other and kind with their siblings, and how to have self-control. And it's called Pete and Penelope. Those are our two characters right there. It's a puppet television show. Those are what the characters look like. But over the next couple of months, we're going to be raising money through a crowdfunding campaign on Indiegogo to get all 5 puppets. There's 5 characters total. 4 protagonists, 1 little antagonist. A little bit about the show. These guys hang out every day in a treehouse that comes alive whenever they step foot inside. So it's got a little bit of a Pee-wee's Playhouse element to it. And we actually just got back from LA, which I didn't tell you, and had some great meetings out there, so we've got a lot of interest. Anyway, we're having to kick off kind of a launch party here at Foolish Things, September 19th. It's at 7 o'clock, it's on a Friday night. It's going to be super fun for the entire family. We're inviting everyone to come, no matter your age. There's going to be a lot of fun things to do for the kids. There'll be games and prizes. There'll be an exhibit here in this room, actually, where I'm standing, where you'll get to see art from the show. You'll get to see all the characters, learn about them. You'll be able to see what the treehouse looks like. You'll get to see a storyboard of the first pilot, the pilot episode. Of course, it's the first one. And overall, just have a lot of fun. And then we'll watch the video to kind of launch the crowdfunding campaign. We're going to raise $10,000. That's how much the puppets cost, which is not a lot in the puppet community, but also a lot of money to some people who don't know anything about the puppet community. But that's it. So September 19th, 7 p.m. in the spot that we're all at, and you're all invited. If you forget or you want to double check the information, go to peteandpenelope.tv or look them up on Twitter or Instagram or Facebook or anything else. Yeah, thanks so much.
Thanks, Adam. And we'll announce that closer as well. All right, click me. TEDx Tulsa, Dave the Man. We also have Kim Dush. She's going to do a spoken word. That's September 23rd. TEDxTulsa.com. Get your tickets. And we have an announcement. I don't know if Janae's here. No. She was just got a great honor, one of 40 people across the nation, and she's now a certified valuation analyst, something like that.
She's been that. She's been that, but she's one of the best.
Oh, she's one of the best.
Yeah.
Top 40 in the under 40 in the nation. So that's very cool. Excited for her. Congrats to Janae. And last but not least, I want to make an announcement about this little guy. Autumn Morton won it this past week. She actually, if you don't remember, we asked you to recommend somebody to present, and then her recommendation filled out their form. So she will get this mug next time she comes. for those of you that would like a mug and you need a travel mug, and it's just super cool, and it even has a little clip for your carabiner, for your keychain. Dave? The man who needs this. Anyway, if you recommend somebody and they fill out the form, first one to do it again this week, you'll get this travel mug next week or when you come next. All right, introducing today, we're going to introduce you to Panda Laundry Factory. This is Sam, and he hails from Springfield. He's going to give a little update right before he goes into his presentation. He has utilized the 1 Million Cups Passport Program. For those of you that don't know, we're in 55, soon to be 57 cities across the nation, and also in Puerto Rico. Sam, that should be your next destination, Puerto Rico. He's gone to a number of cities and spoken and had some great connections outside of his local community. And one of the things that I love about 1 Million Cups is we really are cross-collaborating cities now. It's not just the entrepreneurs of our city, but we're actually interacting and propelling entrepreneurs of other cities. So if you would give it up for Sam, the Panda Laundry Factory.
Hello, good morning. They wanted me to talk about the Passport program. So really quickly, I think it's a great resource for people who presented at 1 Million Cups. I presented in a handful of cities, and I've gotten two things from every city. Great feedback and networking connections. And I was just talking to Baron about it, just to be able to go out and meet new people. There's just so much value in just doing that. So I highly recommend it to anybody who's presenting here and would like to present in another community. Okay, so my name is Samson, and I'm with the Panda Laundry Factory, and Panda Laundry is the next revolution in wash and fold. And for those of you who don't know what a wash and fold is, it's any service that will do your laundry for you for a fee. So today, I want to introduce you to the wash and fold hypothesis, touch on the brief history of the wash and fold industry, and then share with you why I believe Panda is the future. So the wash and fold hypothesis simply states that most people hate doing their own laundry, and would much rather have somebody else do it for them. So with this hypothesis, we can see that a latent and untapped market demand for laundry service would exist, and anybody who creates a wash and fold business to meet those market needs would make money. But as simple as that sounds, there's a missing component there, which we need to discuss in just a few minutes. But first, creating a profitable wash and fold business has always been the holy grail for laundry operators. And going as far back as the pioneering owners of some of the earliest laundromats, we can see that they sought to capitalize on this latent and untapped market demand for laundry service when they implemented little counters and little windows into their laundromat locations, and they put up big signs that said wash and fold. Now, these early operators believed that if they put up these big signs, it would attract the customers and they would make that money. But I'm going to venture to say that for most of us in this room, we don't ever really remember our parents utilizing a service like this on a regular basis, if ever. So many years would pass, and a whole new generation of operators would enter the industry, and they too saw the immense potential of this latent and untapped market demand for laundry service. So beyond the little counters and the little windows, they fully embraced the .com era and they built websites. Now this new generation of operators believed that the convenience of the websites would attract the customers and they'd make that money. But I'm going to venture to say that for most of us in this room, we still don't use a wash and fold service. Okay, so here we are today, firmly within the mobile generation, which seeks to alleviate all the first world inconveniences with an app. And of course, somebody's going to create an app for laundry. So as you can see from this infographic taken from a recent New York Magazine article, well over a dozen laundry by app companies have emerged in this burgeoning marketplace in the last few years. Now we got tech guys who themselves have recently discovered this latent and untapped market demand for laundry service, and they believe if they build really cool apps, the customers will use it and they'll make that money. But when we investigate the wash and fold hypothesis, beyond the fact that we already knew that most people hate doing their own laundry and would much rather have somebody else do it for them, the third key missing component we discover is that most people would only utilize a wash and fold service on a regular basis is if and only if it was truly faster, better, and cheaper than doing it yourself. So when we look at the laundry companies that are in the marketplace today through this Panda hypothesis, sorry for being screwed off, we can now better understand why these companies will continue to struggle to gain traction. None of these companies can do it faster. At best, you're going to have a 24-hour turnaround time, with 48 to 72 hours being more than norm. And so no matter how much we hate doing laundry, we can all begrudgingly do it faster than that ourselves. None of these companies can do it better. Specifically, when we look at these laundry by app companies, we see that they utilize a marketplace business model, which simply means that they take your laundry and then outsource it to the lowest bidding supplier. And that's just bad news for you and your laundry. On top of that, the marketplace business model does not allow the consistency in service quality, and we as business owners understand better than anybody that it's the consistency that drives customer loyalty. And finally, none of these companies can do it cheaper. Minimum double, if not triple, what you would normally spend to do the laundry yourself at a local laundromat. But Panda, however, solves all these issues, because Panda is the world's first systems-based, fully automated assembly production wash service that utilizes computer technology. And so what you're looking at there is a design schematic for Panda's proprietary software, which controls all of its internal systems. And this is how the Panda system works. The customer sets his or her own wash parameters and preferences into Panda's forward-facing app, which is not a storefront, but an actual control panel for its service. Panda will then execute those exact instructions for their laundry as it moves through its system. Panda can do this because it takes advantage of the fact that the steps of the wash and pull process always follow a sequential order. The laundry always needs to be sorted before it's moved to an area to be washed, before it's moved to an area to be dried, before it's moved to an area to be hung and folded, before it's moved to an area to be packaged. So this entire linear movement of materials can then be automated with custom conveyors. The clothes can be tracked with RFID tags, and all of it can be controlled with Panda's proprietary software. With this software and system in place, Panda will move at rapid speeds, which means you get your laundry back in less than 2 hours. It'll always deliver high levels of consistent quality because the process is systems-based and not people-based. And all of it will be done for less than what you would have spent doing the laundry yourself at a local laundromat. So basically, Panda will wash, dry, fold, and package your laundry for you faster, better, and cheaper than it's ever been done before. This is the innovation of the Panda Laundry Factory. So Panda will grow and scale through a traditional franchising model. We build out our flagship prototype location and operate it for 2 years. We use that time to fine-tune the systems, prove the concept, and show that we've tapped into this previously untappable latent market demand for laundry service. If we expand out to 100 franchise locations in 5 years, and each location averages 2.5 million in gross sales, which is 180 customer heads a day, or 7 to 8 customers an hour, Panda Corporate would achieve a valuation of well over 100 million at the end of year 5. At that point, we're going to approach Procter & Gamble. P&G has shown that they want to leverage their brands through a franchising channel. We know this because they've established their Future Works division, and they also create their wholly owned subsidiary, Agile Pursuits Franchising, which controls and operates all their Thai dry cleaning locations. And I don't know about you, but I believe a laundry factory is a much better brand fit for Procter & Gamble with their products like Thai, Gain, Draft, Bounce, Snuggle than a dry cleaning establishment is. And so just as Henry Ford utilized assembly line efficiencies to revolutionize the auto industry, and the McDonald's brothers used it to help create the fast food sector, Panda seeks to create a similar revolution in wash and fold. So I'm here today to network with as many Sooners who want to partner with the Springfield Panda to help change the way Americans do laundry. Thank you.
And don't forget about the Cowboys and the Golden Eagles and
the Golden Eagles and the Canes.
All right, open up for questions. Anybody got a question? Yes.
Hey, how is the laundry being delivered? Is it being dropped off by customers, or is there a delivery part of it?
Yeah, so we don't do pickup and drop off. That's where you lose your money. Laundry by app companies do pickup and drop off because that's how they bring the value. Our model is built with a storefront, and that's how we will be able to process your laundry for such a low price. But our square foot design is 3,500 square foot footprint design with 2 levels. That allows it to go into any pad site in the country. So the whole idea behind Panda is to have somebody who's normally doing laundry at a laundromat at home, put it in their car, take it with them when they go to Walmart or when they go on their runs, drop it off, get their groceries, get their nails done, and then pick it up on the way back home. We believe that value will be beneficial for the consumer as well as being able to let us keep the prices very low.
So you said your process was automated by machinery. What was the startup for that machinery that you're using?
The capital cost of the automation was $800,000. The laundry equipment itself was $300,000.
Aside from the storefront, how are you different than like a local dry cleaner? Obviously, do you do dry cleaning? Is that part of the process, or just specifically laundry?
Yeah, we don't do dry cleaning, and we're different because of our speed. No wash and fold can do laundry in 2 hours. And what is different about us is that we're the only wash and fold service that automates the entire process. So every other wash and fold in the country does it by hand. So that's why it costs so much and takes so long. But once you can expedite the process, get the volume up, you can drop the cost, the economies of scale, you can open up the market to new people who would never have used the wash and fold service before.
So you've mentioned that this is cheaper. How cheap is it, and how does that compare to all the other competition, other wash and fold, myself doing it at my home without even having to go to the laundromat?
So 3 loads of laundry comes out to $20. So if you go to a laundromat and you do 3 loads, it would be about $15 to $20. But the value, the reason why it's cheaper than you doing it at your house is because you think you're saving money, but I can guarantee you your time is worth more than whatever amount of money you think you're saving by doing it at home by yourself. There's a value proposition in what Panda offers. Because people don't save money when they don't spend it. They save money by bringing more value to their time. So that is where the value proposition comes in. And one of the biggest things that I found is, I wondered who was going to be our earliest adapters. The 2 earliest adapters are young males, because they naturally have an instinct to hand your clothes off to other people, girlfriends and mothers, and mothers. Mothers were our earliest adapters because mothers have no time to be embarrassed. They have no time to worry about things. They just need to get stuff done. And so mothers, unfortunately, still today have the responsibility of taking care of the family's laundry, but many times they're working and they have a full plate as well.
Hello. So can you tell me where you are in the process? Is your headquarters up and running? How many customers do you have today? Are you on the process of building?
So we have a prototype facility in Springfield. We don't have a storefront. That is the next step. Our customers are all B2B. I believe ultimately when Panda builds out its model, I believe 2/3 of our business will be B2B. College contracts, nursing homes, facilities that would want servicing for their employees. I believe any business that offers a free daycare is in the same thinking process of also offering free laundry service to their employees as an incentive in our firm. So that's sort of where we're going to go, and I believe 1/3 of our business ultimately is going to be walk-in storefront customers.
Do you think that you will, when this becomes more popular, do you think that you will run into capacity issues to where now people aren't waiting 2 hours, they're waiting 4 or 6 hours? Like, how many people can you serve at one time?
So yes, I hope to go into that situation, and when that happens, we just expand our facility. Our prototype design is 3,500 square feet, footprint to level 7,000 square feet of processing. Our current capacity is 100 customers an hour. So that handles more than what we need to handle now, but I would love a situation where we have more than 100 customers coming in an hour. But that's just a position where we just put more machines and expand out our facility.
Maybe you even offer a lower price for the bachelors that don't need their clothes in 2 hours.
Well, absolutely. And that's the sophistication of the software too, for instance. So if we have B2B customers like college students, when they come in the system knows that the delivery doesn't go out till tomorrow morning. So if a walk-in customer comes in, their laundry is prioritized above everybody else, and it goes into the washer first, not just the college students.
So forgive me, I stepped out for a minute if you already answered this, but how are you pricing it? Like, is it per weight of the load, or for amount of articles of clothing, or how does that work?
So we don't price by pound because we're a different model. We price by turn, and the reason we came with that model is simply because poundage doesn't really affect us. It's turns that affect us. 30 pounds of your laundry, if it's just 2 turns, whites and colors, will cost me less money than his laundry that's only 15 pounds, but he has 4 turns. He has delicates, heavies, bleeds, and the color. So we price by turns, but really actually our metric is by turns. We price by crate. We give one flat price to a customer. We provide them with our Panda crate. So that way you don't, but one of the other reasons why wash and folds don't do well is because they charge by pound. A lot of people don't know how many pounds of laundry they have. Anytime you confuse a consumer, they just won't use your service. So we charge by crate. So everybody knows what they can fit into a crate, and people get excited about overstuffing their crate, or they feel comfortable with understuffing their crate, but there's an emotional understanding of what I'm comfortable spending because they know volume more than they know poundage.
You mentioned you have a prototyping facility in Springfield. You're working on that. Talk us through as far as what does that even look like? I mean, you have a couple machines with, I'm envisioning like Back to the Future type stuff that you're doing, and then what are you looking for? Are you looking to raise capital? Are you looking for technology partners? How long does it take to prototype this, and how much does it cost?
Well, the facility is very simple. It looks like a uniquely laid out laundromat. All the automation is in the material movement. It's not in the actual, like there's no robots. We do have trained pandas. Okay. But it's all of the automation is in the keeping track of whose bin is where and where it needs to go next. So our conveyors take the washers from the sort station to the repair station to the washers automatically. It knows which washer is going to be available next and queues it up. When it gets to the washer, the RFID tag tells the washer which settings the customer wants their wash in. So if they need hypoallergenic soap and they want a general cycle, the machine will execute those instructions. The bin that comes right behind it in the very next washer could be a completely different wash instruction. They want bleach, heavy, and a double rinse or something like that. And so the automation is all in the material movement. So at every station, there are people who load and unload the washers or fold at the fold stations or hang the shirts. But we're able to process more people's laundry because we can put more people's laundry into the system at once. And that's where the volume execution comes in our system.
I've got a question. So does this mean you're having to design specialty machines that can handle this?
The laundry equipment is off the shelf. We use Continental equipment. The unique automation is in the conveyor system that we develop and the computer software that controls it.
And so the follow-up question I have for you is, what's the cost? Where are you as far as, are you raising capital? Give us a timeline on all that.
Absolutely. I believe for Panda to take the next step, we need a storefront. In the same way Ray Kroc did it. Ray Kroc did not develop McDonald's. He discovered the McDonald's brothers in San Bernardino. The McDonald's brothers had an amazing system for making burgers very quickly. It was an octagon hut that was more of an afterthought than actual design, but Ray Kroc could see the potential of that system. So what Ray Kroc did was got them to let him franchise it. He went back to Illinois and he built out a prototype storefront that he was now going to start selling to franchisees. And he took that system and put it right into the storefront. So that's where we're at. We're looking for the capital to build out our storefront. A glass, contemporary looking, 3,500 square foot facility that's very attractive, that's transparent, that people like you and me will drive up to and look inside and see automated machines doing laundry, and we'll be intrigued by it and walk up to. And the best vision I can explain is think about a Krispy Kreme and how they have that automated donut machine in the back. Instead of donuts, imagine laundry. So it's that transparency. Open style businesses have become very popular since the 80s, especially with restaurants, because people now want to see what's happening with their food. And for something like laundry, with all our inhibitions and all our idiosyncrasies, people are not comfortable hanging their clothes to a person who's going to then walk behind a wall. They want to see the entire process in front of them, and they want to know what's happening. Then when they see the automation and the system in place, they trust the system, and they don't have to trust the person.
You've mentioned automating the handling of it all, but one major hang-up I can think of in the speed of the whole process is folding. Have you automated any part of that? What part, how much? Because laundry is you get all sorts of stuff.
Absolutely. Well, this is how you handle the folding. You break it up into three components. You have a small fold, big fold, and a hang. The hang is shirts and pants, and we run it through a steam tunnel. The reason we do that is because I can hang shirts and pants faster than I can ever fold them, and plus the consumer gets a better end product. The small fold is socks and underwear, and the big folds are towels and linens. And one thing I will tell you is there's something that happens when you use assembly line efficiency production. People at each module gets faster. You think you can fold your clothes fast, but if you folded nothing but socks and underwear all day, you would be able to fold socks and underwear faster than is even believable. And that comes from efficiency of motion. And that's because there's an unconscious element that comes once you do something so many times. And so when you break down the steps into such distinct component parts, you can accelerate a process that once took 15 minutes one person to fold, we could get it into 3 stations and get out in less than a minute.
2 questions, which I believe is my allowed. Is that a word? Okay, first one is the first time I walk in the store, explain to me kind of what it looks like to input my requirements. You know, a dry cleaner, I say I want light starch, it's like that forever. So kind of walk that through every single time I have to come in and give you the distinct characteristics, how I want my laundry folded, kind of talk us through that process from a customer facing perspective.
Okay, so we're talking about in this ideal prototype facility, you walk into the glass
storefront that
you pull it up.
I walked
awesome.
up, I got my
So you're coming in with your kid and you have your crate of laundry, or let's say you're visiting first time, you just have a bag of laundry. We say hello, we ask you what you would like. The person at the front asks you your preferences. If you haven't downloaded the app before you walk in the store and already set your preferences, which you could tell what wash parameters you wanted, what you want done where, and then when we get your information, when we get your laundry, we'll just embed all that information that you created onto that laundry. If you haven't downloaded laundry, we'll just input it right then and there while you're there. But this is the exciting thing about where the technology can go once the platform is built. They make RFID chips today that are 1/4 inch by 1/4 inch that are made of plastic that can be adhered to any surface. Those chips can then be embedded on any shirt, pants, sock, underwear because it's so discreet. You could, at one point in the future, once we implement those chips, once the platform is built, you could wave your phone over your silk shirt and say, never wash in this, always air dry, and I want this kind of detergent on it. When we have our sorter go through it, the RFID reader will read that there is special instructions for a certain shirt. You'll know it's that shirt, and it'll be done exactly that way. Also, so for right now, the way we do it, so the quick answer is, the way we do it right now is, we take your preferences, you tell us what you want done, we embed that information. When it goes to the sorter will see exactly like when you're at McDonald's and you tell them you want 2 cheeseburgers, the person on the line knows it's 2 cheeseburgers for the order. In the same way, when it goes to the sorter, the sorter knows what your work order is. Like what you want with the whites, what you want with the colors, and how you want this done. But eventually, with that technology, we'll get to the point where you could be able to tell us discretely down to the single item. You could tell us, or your wife could tell us, that they want a certain underwear and certain bra paired together always. So she'll be able to embed that information, and the sorter will know that certain pairs are supposed to be paired, and they can get packaged together. That kind of discrete control does not exist in the marketplace today, and I believe that's why the service will bring value in people's lives.
My second question is more along the lines of volume. So just how you dry clean, you're going to give me these crates to take on with me. As a single male that would benefit from someone doing my laundry, it'd be more like that using volume. Like, hey, I want to get all my laundry done at once. And I mean, I'm a above average size guy, I can't carry all my laundry at once. So how would someone, a mother with 2 kids, I could probably do it. How does a mom, 2 small kids, kind of carry the enough volume into your store to create the value you need to make I don't know what your break-even models are, but how much volume?
Right, and it's true, laundry is heavy. 3 pounds of laundry can be anywhere between 20 and 25 pounds. So in our prototype design of the facility, we have an awning. And just like any nice upscale dry cleaning establishment, you just drive under the awning and a porter comes out and unloads it for you. Especially with mothers with kids. And mothers with kids know that if you load up your car with kids, you don't want to have to unload them, especially for a 1-minute drop. So that's why drive-thrus are very popular. That's why services that can come out to your car will be pivotal. In terms of getting the laundry into your car from your home, that's something that we may have to figure out maybe with drones in the future. I don't know. But,
use those pandas.
With the what?
Use those pandas in the train.
Oh yeah, panda. Yeah, absolutely.
Hello. Do you have a red sock in the white load guarantee?
Yes, people ask me that all the time. I'm glad you asked that question. People ask me all the time, how are you not going to turn my whites pink? Well, first of all, I'm going to say this. If I do turn your whites pink, it's insured. You'll get your money back. If you turn your shirts pink, you're screwed. So it's better to use our service because there's built-in insurance. But in the future, with those RFID chips I'm talking about, I'll embed every red item that says it's red. Do not ever wash in a cycle with whites. So when it goes into the washer will know there's a red item here, kill the wash cycle. And it'll alert the agent to go to that washer and take out whatever needs to be taken out. So it will be the closest thing to a guarantee that there never could be.
Do you think the RFID tags will bring up any privacy concerns with your customers as far as like can you technically track where they are when they're wearing the
Yes,
phones?
people ask me that all the time, and I'll assure you the government is not tracking you. And RFID tags are just readable, writable barcodes. Could they utilize that technology to track you? Absolutely. But I'm not working with the NSA, and they would have to have access to my system, and it's RFID tags, so it's near field. So they would have to have a reader within a few feet of you. And then even if they were a few feet of you, they would have access to our database to know who you were. So I'll believe me when I tell you, when we get to that point, we'll build in all kinds of encryption. Who's on my laundry? We'll make sure that nobody knows whose is what. And also in terms of privacy, people ask me, how comfortable do I feel handing my clothes over to somebody else? Well, first of all, when your laundry goes through our system, it doesn't go through as Joe Johnson's laundry. It goes through a 16-digit barcode, so it's anonymous. Plus, other features we want to implement in our storefront is Panda Cams. And Panda Cams are also features that are going to be at every station of the process, where your clothes will have video recording of it. Will you watch it? Probably not. But you will feel safer knowing, if you wanted to, you'll know who touched your clothes at every step of the way. I believe those are the kind of things we have to offer in the beginning until the service becomes common. Once it becomes common, no one even thinks to ask it. But in the beginning stages, as you try to teach people how to hand your clothes over to somebody else, you got to give them all kinds of reassurances that it's not going to be everything they fear. And people have irrational fears about all kinds of things that they don't know.
So I'm picturing like these industrial-sized washers, and what comes to mind is detergent. There's like a dozen different types of smells and stuff, but you know, 75% of the population likes lavender, but I don't like lavender. I don't want my stuff, you know, coming home and smelling strange. Do you have like one scent you use, or can you modify that as well?
Oh, you mean one washer that we would possibly use for a certain scents? Well, you would set your wash parameter, right? You would tell me you need a hypoallergenic soap and you want no scent. Okay, so your wash would then be embedded with that information and go to an individual washer, not mixed with other people's, that only uses that detergent. Will there be a residual aftermath of maybe the wash before you that had maybe strong Mountain Spring scent? Possibly, but the thing I say to you then is, how's that any different from using a laundromat where you went and used the machine right after somebody else? So I don't think there's going to be cross-contamination issues. If people are very highly sensitive, I'm sure we could build that into our system to have a pre-wash in the machine before their laundry goes in. But those are all things that once the platform is implemented, you know, we can definitely have each customer's laundry exactly the way they want it. Because everyone has idiosyncratic ways. I mean, like whenever I talk to people about how they do their laundry, it's almost like voodoo. It's like they're like, I first put the half cup in, I let it run for like 30 minutes, go 3 minutes, and I come back and I'll mix it in again. And the reason people do that is because they don't know. Anytime you don't know, you come up with some kind of weird ritual. That's why people who did not know science came up with totem poles. Because anything they can't explain, they'll just come up with some kind of formula and some kind of idea of how things work. And that's why people, when they do laundry, it worked one time, so they repeat that habit. Like, this is one time I put it in there after we got started, and it just worked, so that's what I do now. So that's where a lot of people's idiosyncrasies come from.
Okay, then last question. What can we, the 1 Million Cups Tulsa community, do to help you?
You know, I love talking about laundry, and I love meeting people. And so anybody that you feel would love to talk to me, if you would love to talk to me, I would just love to keep the conversation going. You just never know who you meet, and you never know who you're going to get to meet by just introducing yourself. So I believe that people want to hear about laundry, and I just want to be the guy that talks to them about laundry because you know, the only way Panda is going to become successful is if it keeps reaching out to people and keeps letting them know who we are and what we're trying to do, which is just to change the way people do laundry.
Well,
thank you
for Samson. All right, well, we just have a couple more events coming up we want to let you know about. First, Run Good Gear is a poker apparel company that presented here at 1 Million Cups a few months ago, and their second tournament is starting today at Hard Rock Casino. And if you already knew that and were going to participate, then you probably didn't need this announcement. But keep track of what's going on Twitter and maybe go see part of the tournament if you like. It's going on to the 7th of this month. Then lastly,
I love this guy.
This is me, everyone. I do a monthly show at the Arts and Humanities Council downtown, and I have tickets available for my September 16th concert. So if you would like to come, just send me an email at bean@baronryan.com.
What does the B stand for?
Boss. Admission is either $10 or a social media share, and those can both be done at the concert. So there's no barrier to entry before you actually walk in the door, and then it can be almost free once you're actually there. Thank you again for being here. We're here every Wednesday. Oh, that was the last slide. We're here every Wednesday at 9 o'clock. We'll have 2 new startups next week, so we hope to see you then. Take care.